February 13th, the Big Meech Home benefit concert. It's going to be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red.
50 Cent just called Big Meech a rat, and the internet is losing its mind. Flushed face, but the truth behind this feud runs way deeper than anyone expected. Secrets, betrayals, and hidden deals that could change everything you thought you knew about BMF. Trust me, you'll want to see this till the very end. I want to take a moment to talk about my father, Dion Gatling. Most people know him by his nickname, Cuffy. This isn't easy for me, but I feel it's important to bring some truth to light. My dad was betrayed by someone he trusted deeply, his longtime friend Demetrius, Big Meech Lenore. Their bond stretched over 3 decades, and for me, Meech was like an uncle I'd known my entire life. That's why this situation feels so heavy. It's not just painful, it's devastating on every level. This recording comes from a federal prison call. Originally, I worked with Tammy, paid for script, and invested $4 million into making sure my father's story was told. That script was mine. Meanwhile, 50 Cent has reemerged in the spotlight, turning his attention directly toward Big Meech. His return isn't subtle. He's coming with intensity, pushing an already fragile situation closer to the edge. What started as a heated clash between Big Meech and Rick Ross quickly spilled onto social media, igniting a storm of debates, viral clips, and endless speculation. Suddenly, all eyes are on the growing tension between 50 and Meech, and everyone's asking, what triggered this? And what's about to happen next? The internet is buzzing, and here's why. 50 Cent publicly labeled Big Meech a rat. At first, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just gossip until I saw nearly every blog reporting the same thing. The claim? Meech linked up with Rick Ross, someone 50 has feuded with for years, and that was enough for 50 to draw his line. When I checked 50's own page, the post was right there. He called out Meech, saying his biggest mistake was not maintaining ties with Tammy Cohen, whose upcoming tell-all documentary promises to expose hidden truths. His caption left no room for doubt. I think I'm Big Meech with a rat. The irony is that not long ago, 50 and Meech had posed together in a photo, giving the impression their relationship was strong. That picture, posted November 17, 2024, was captioned with Greenlight Gang Ultimate Hustler Edition, making it seem like all was well. But things have clearly shifted. As BMF prepares for its 4th season, questions are swirling about the show's future. Rumors have circulated for months about whether new episodes would even be produced, largely due to disputes over rights and ownership of the story, especially now that Big Meech himself is free. Recently, 50 has been dropping hints about the project on his page, teasing that the truth behind BMF will shock audiences. He posted lines like, "The truth ain't nothing but the truth." BMF. Who is Tammy Cohen? This doc will blow your mind. Facts stranger than fiction. He's also warned that if ratings don't hold up this season, it could very well be the show's last, urging fans to tune in. To understand the deeper backdrop, you have to look at 50 Cent's long-standing feud with Rick Ross. Their bad blood dates all the way back to 2008, when Ross claimed 50 gave him a hostile look at the BET Hip Hop Awards. 50 denied it, but the moment snowballed. Ross fired back with his diss track, Mafia Music, and 50 clapped back with Officer Ricky, targeting Ross's past as a corrections officer. From there, the rivalry spiraled into a barrage of tracks, interviews, and even animated skits mocking one another. 50 took things further by involving Ross's family, speaking with his mother, and exposing personal details to weaken Ross's street credibility. What began as a single misunderstanding became one of the most relentless and infamous rap feuds in history.
Works for him, outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, he mentions me. He gets covered first. You'll see TMZ as a 50 Cent said this is going to be bad for Irv Gotti's career. I get covered across the board. Yeah. They get covered on the hip hop law. It is what it is. Yeah. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You'll just see it happen periodically as it goes. Yeah. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs. Yeah. We know what they can give you. They can't pay you more than they can pay you because the room can't hold enough people for them to give you the money to stay there. You can stay until you're a squatter, holding on to the leg of the chair that they're moving. But that's what it is. It's just a part of presentation. Yeah. Come on, bro. You can see this. You don't need me to say this. You know this. Yeah. Look at it. What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why are you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you.
The AC broken in the...
World famous DJ Clue. It's the people's choice, DJ Envy.
Yeah.
And it's Kid 50 Cent, man. What's good?
And I feel like I'm back starting again. We're coming full circle. I remember desperately wanting to be on a Clue tape.
Rick Ross's son.
Yeah.
You were out in Vegas at the fight.
Yeah.
Now, this was like the worst disrespect that somebody can do. I took a picture to a parent. You took a picture with his son, holding his son.
Yeah.
But y'all have problems. Just imagine if your baby moms had your son with somebody else. It'd be ugly. Definitely.
You know, like, I had a hard time growing up. You know, my son's mom knows that my actions would reflect that. So she won't do it. She won't chance it. The people who know me know my capability. So they'll stop. You know, people who think I gotta gauge. I gotta look and see who's this guy before, you know, like you get into a space. Cause I believe you. When every day I'm hustling, I'm thinking that's who he is. Then you look in the back and you go, wait, he's a cop. You serious? And anything else that comes out is go, okay, I can't even take this serious. I gotta go put the curly.
Big Meech, the infamous co-founder of the Black Mafia family, has once again found himself at the center of hip-hop's latest and most explosive controversy. What sparked the firestorm this time was a seemingly simple image, a photo of Meech standing alongside Rick Ross. To some, it looked like nothing more than two high-profile figures connecting. But to 50 Cent, a man with a long memory and an even longer history of public feuds, it was something entirely different. The photo caught his attention like a red flag, and in true 50 fashion, he wasted no time in striking. Without hesitation, he branded Meech a rat, unleashing a tidal wave of conversations, rumors, and speculation that have since consumed fans and media alike. But what lies behind such a heavy accusation? Why would 50, who once appeared to be on good terms with Meech, turn around and call him out with one of the harshest labels in the street world? To understand this, you have to peel back the layers of history, relationships, and betrayal that run deep within the story of BMF. According to 50 Cent, Meech's past isn't as untouchable as it appears on the surface. He claims that Meech has quietly cooperated with authorities, not directly, but through a middle figure, Tammy Cowens. In 50's telling, Tammy acted as a go-between, allegedly passing information, making arrangements, and cutting deals that allowed Meech to remain protected even as the empire around him crumbled. Now, whether this claim is grounded in fact or fueled by rumor is still hotly debated. On one side, 50's followers point to past whispers about Meech's connections with Tammy and her alleged ties to law enforcement as proof that the accusation has weight. On the other, Meech's supporters argue that these are nothing more than smear tactics designed to discredit him, especially at a time when his influence is resurging and his name continues to carry enormous weight in the culture. Still, in the world of hip-hop, where reputation and perception often matter more than paperwork, the mere suggestion of cooperation with authorities is enough to plant doubt, spark debate, and stain legacies. The timing of 50's attack is also critical. The leaked photo with Rick Ross wasn't just about Meech posing with a fellow artist. Ross has a long, bitter rivalry with 50 Cent, a feud that goes back over a decade and has seen diss tracks, public insults, and even personal family matters dragged into the light. To 50, Meech's decision to align himself with Ross, even in something as simple as a photo, could be seen as crossing an invisible line, a symbolic act of loyalty that directly opposed him. In that light, branding Meech a rat becomes more than just an insult. It's a calculated strike meant to undermine his credibility at the very moment Meech seems to be stepping back into the public eye. The impact of the accusation has been enormous. Social media erupted almost instantly, with fans dissecting every word, screenshotting every post, and drawing battle lines in the sand. Some defended 50, arguing that he's always been a straight shooter who doesn't speak without some kind of evidence. Others blasted him, claiming he was reaching for attention, trying to stir drama as a way to keep his own projects, like the hit Starz series BMF, in the spotlight. Blogs, YouTube channels, and gossip sites all latched onto the controversy, turning it into an ongoing spectacle. At its core, the situation cuts into one of hip-hop's most sensitive subjects: loyalty. In street culture, being labeled a rat isn't just a minor insult, it's the ultimate mark of betrayal. It suggests that someone who once lived by the code of the streets broke it when the pressure hit, choosing self-preservation over loyalty to their people. For Meech, a man whose name has long been synonymous with power, influence, and street credibility, the accusation doesn't just challenge his reputation, it threatens to unravel the mythology built around him and the BMF legacy. And this is why fans can't look away. The story isn't just about Meech or Ross or even 50. It's about what happens when loyalty, betrayal, survival, and power collide in the public eye. Every post, every comment, and every rumor adds fuel to the fire, pulling people deeper into the storm. Whether or not 50's claims hold up in the long run, one thing is already certain: his words have reopened old wounds, intensified rivalries, and forced the culture to once again ask the question: what does loyalty really mean when the stakes are this high?
Yeah, Cuffy come from St. Louis, man. He, he gave Meech them $1 million. He helped start BMF. He owned the name of BMF, and they stole that name from him. And they snitched on him and took him to jail. Right, so Meech out. So he need to really make good with that. He need to go get Cuffy. He need to go talk to Cuffy.
Yeah, I interviewed Cuffy, and he's accusing Meech of cooperating.
He got paperwork.
So yeah, I got Cuffy right here, man. St. Louis legend. You know what I'm saying? And I know people heard me speak about Meech's paperwork situation with the last interview that we had, and a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. They don't believe it, Blues hating. You know what I'm saying? And when I went back and I looked at everything, I was like, you know what, bro? It's only right, and only one way to really do it. You good? Only one way to really do it and just let Dog speak for itself. So I wanted him to call in, and this is him calling in during the interview. Go ahead, Cuff, man. You can introduce yourself and take the flow.
Hello, man. What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, a lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up, or this thing is fake, or that I have an axe to grind. You feel me?
Right.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, that you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Collins, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Collins signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
My name is Tamara Gatling, and I'm speaking today about my father, Dion Gatling, though most people know him by his nickname, Cuffy. This isn't easy for me, but I feel it's necessary. My father was betrayed by someone he trusted more than almost anyone, Demetrius Big Meech Flannery. Their friendship spanned over 30 years, and for as long as I can remember, Meech was like family to me, like an uncle. That's what makes this situation so heartbreaking. It has shattered us on so many levels, and there are still countless unanswered questions. For now, all I can do is share the facts I know and hope that one day the full truth comes to light. Back in 2011, Meech reached out to my father about a potential project. At first, there was confusion and even a message claiming it was all a misunderstanding. Meech told my dad to simply call a woman who would clear everything up. But my father wasn't convinced, and from that point, the trust between them began to erode. Meanwhile, 50 Cent didn't just throw around accusations about Big Meech. He came with what he described as hard evidence. His focus shifted toward my father, Cuffy, a central figure in helping build the BMF empire, who is now serving a 30-year prison sentence. According to 50, that harsh punishment wasn't just the result of my father's own choices. He claims Meech turned his back on Cuffy, leaving him to face the weight of the law alone as a way to shield himself. For 50, that wasn't just survival, it was betrayal, a stark sign of disloyalty. The situation grew even more explosive when I, Cuffy's daughter, publicly supported 50 Cent's account. My voice gave his claims added credibility, painting Meech as someone who may have chosen self-preservation over brotherhood. That perspective has only fueled the controversy, sparking new debates about loyalty, sacrifice, and the hidden truths behind the BMF legacy.
Plain and simple.
Right. So
Okay, so can you break down the story? Like, how do you know this? And how'd you come upon this information?
how do you know? How do you came upon this information though?
We were rewarded what's called a Frank's hearing. It's based on a case called U.S. versus Frank. So I would implore your listeners to look the case up. And what a Frank's hearing entails is that you're able to cross-examine your accusers, meaning government agents, meaning informants, and so on and so forth, just like a regular trial. So this was testified in court.
Period. Point blank.
This was testified in court that I became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
That's what was said on the stand, bro. The lady became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. But I think people would ask the question of this though. This is what I got hit with a lot is, all right, then if he did it to get a time cut, then how come he still did all that time in jail?
At first, I wasn't going to speak on this. I'm not the type to let anyone lure me into something reckless. But I have to set the record straight. I've never folded, never cooperated, and never will. For me, it's always been death before dishonor. I'm speaking out now for my loved ones, and for those who continue to stand by me. People often ask, how could Meech have had information on you, then passed it to Tammy, leading to your downfall? To explain, we have to rewind the story. Back in 2009, I invested in and secured the script for the BMF movie, not the TV series 50 Cent later produced for Starz, but the original film project. Tammy was involved in those early days, holding rights connected to Meech's life story. We were working together, shopping the script around, and on paper it all looked like a legitimate business venture. But the truth is messier. The original government target wasn't me. It was a Mexican cartel member named Fidel Suarez out of California. Tammy, working alongside Meech, was supposed to help build that case. However, once authorities discovered she was also in contact with me, the investigation shifted. Suddenly, I became the focus. That's what's known as third-party cooperation, and it's one of the dirtiest tricks in the book. So, did Tammy set me up? The answer is yes. I've broken this down before, but here's how it went. During one of our visits, she ran a play, convincing me she needed certain moves made. But after leaving that meeting, she went directly to law enforcement. She told them everything, what was planned, what was said, and in exchange, they gave her the tools to trap me. They handed her hot phones wired for surveillance, and from there, she started communicating on behalf of the government. Every call, every conversation was recorded, and that's how I got caught in the middle of bad work and betrayal. Just when it seemed like 50 Cent might ease up on this situation, he proved he wasn't backing down. In fact, he doubled down, broadening his aim at anyone still standing beside Big Meech. The pressure intensified when Detroit rapper 42 Dugg publicly showed support for Meech. 50 took it as a personal challenge, another line being drawn. And in classic 50 fashion, he responded with sharp, public remarks, signaling that siding with Meech meant standing against him. But this isn't only about personal grudges, it's strategic. By openly calling out 42 Dugg, 50 reminded the entire hip-hop world that loyalty and alliances aren't just symbolic, they come with visible consequences. Every move, every affiliation is being watched, and in this escalating conflict, no one is neutral. The drama escalated when 50 Cent took aim at rapper 42 Dugg. Posting a photo online, 50 claimed Dugg had made a major mistake, giving Big Meech $100,000 instead of looking out for his own people. In his post, 50 framed the gesture as misguided loyalty, warning that standing beside Meech was a risky move. Behind the scenes, the situation became even murkier. Word spread that there was recorded audio of 42 Dugg on a three-way call with Big Meech, allegedly set up by Cuffy's nephew. In this recording, Meech is confronted over accusations of steering people toward Tammy Cowens, the very figure tied to third-party cooperation and alleged betrayal. The confrontation, said to have happened around 2017 or 2018, raised the question, why would Meech attempt to connect others with someone already known for working with federal agents? Rumors swirled that Dugg may have knowingly passed Meech $100,000 despite this context. Some argued he was unaware of the deeper implications, insisting his only intent was to help Meech when he was down bad. But according to insiders, the recording paints a troubling picture, one where Meech struggles to explain himself, caught stumbling over his words as he's pressed about Tammy's cooperation with law enforcement. While all this unfolded, 42 Dugg himself pushed back publicly. On his Instagram story, he refused to turn against Detroit, bluntly challenging critics. Either show me proof my big brother's a rat or shut up. He insisted that without hard evidence, no one could sway his loyalty. The controversy didn't stop there. As expected, Rick Ross jumped into the fray, refusing to stay silent while 50 Cent hurled accusations. Ross flipped the narrative, branding 50 a hypocrite, and even insinuating that 50 had his own history of cooperating with authorities. His counterattack reframed the feud, transforming it from a one-sided expose into a high-stakes showdown, where both men were now battling over reputation and authenticity. Social media turned into a battlefield. Diss tracks, interviews, and Instagram captions became weapons, dissected in real time by millions of fans. Supporters lined up behind their chosen side, 50 or Ross, making the feud bigger than either of them. What began as a bitter dispute between two powerful figures in hip-hop had exploded into a viral phenomenon that challenged the very core of street credibility, loyalty, and survival in the culture. Ross, ever the showman, capitalized on the spotlight. Promoting concerts, car shows, and his biggest boss image, he reminded fans that for him, it was about the money, not emotions. To Ross, business and entertainment should never be confused. Loyalty wasn't about family or fake friendships, it was about keeping the hustle alive. In his words, people were broke because they didn't understand the rules of the streets. No one owes you anything, and real hustlers don't let emotions cloud the grind. For Ross, this wasn't just beef, it was branding. By projecting strength, dismissing enemies as emotional, and tying his feud with 50 Cent to larger messages about money, power, and the rules of the game, he kept himself on top of the narrative. And with each exchange, the spectacle only grew, blurring the line between entertainment and reality, and keeping the entire hip-hop world hooked.